Hello, dear friends. We are glad to welcome you again on Alatra TV Middle East. And the topic of our today's live conversation is a quote of our special guest today. It is love life, feed life, teach love life, protect life, serve life. Isn't it awesome? But before we start, I'd like to address to our viewers. Please feel free to leave your comments and questions in live chat on YouTube, and the most interesting ones will be asked at the end of our broadcast. Also, don't forget to share your vision of creative society and invite your friends by sharing this video in your social networks with two hashtags, Creative Society and hashtag Alatra Unites. And to those who joined us recently, I'd like to say that Alatra International Public Movement has launched a unique project which is called Creative Society. People from more than 180 countries of the world are conducting social surveys to find out how people envision the society where everyone is happy and how they want to live in the future in such a society. So, today's live conversation I host together with Serge from Dubai, UAE. Hello, Serge.
Hi, Lina. Hello, everyone. Today we will continue testing the theory of six handshakes, according to which all people in the world know each other via six handshakes. And thanks to this theory, today we have our very, very special guest from Greece. Please welcome Professor Afsendios Kalangos. Good day, Professor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me.
It's a pleasure for us, really. Mr. Kalangos is the director of pediatric heart surgery in Athens, Greece.
Yes, hello, Professor. And also, Professor Kalangos is ex-director of Cardiovascular Center, University Hospital of Geneva, founder and president of Humanitarian Medical Association Cœur pour Tout, also from Switzerland and Greece, and also founder and president of Foundation Kalangos in Switzerland, co-founder and president of Global Heart Network in the United States. Professor gave 962 lectures as guest speaker and published 343 articles and 20 books. Good day, Professor. How are you?
Yeah, thank you very much. Very nice to meet all of you.
This is really so impressive, and so many activities you're doing, Professor, and you're such an active and versatile person. I'm pretty sure that our viewers would be very interested as well to know how you made this decision to become not just a doctor, but choose such an extremely difficult and with enormous responsibility about the human life field, heart surgery. Can you please share with us?
Yeah, I will tell you because it's an impressive story. I was born in Istanbul in 1960, and in 1967, Professor Christian Barnard from South Africa performed the first heart transplant. And then every morning, very early, I had, the habit to go and take, the daily newspapers from the garden of the house. And then Professor Christian Barnard, with his achievement, he was on the first page of all newspapers at that time. And then I was impressed. My father was physician, and then I went to him, and he was shaving, and he told me, why, you are so emotional. I told, read, Papa, read, you will see. This one is something wonderful and unbelievable. You will remove the heart of somebody, and you will put another heart of another human being. And then at that moment, I discovered my vocation. And I told Papa I would like to become heart surgeon. And he told me it's a very long way. And for that reason, I studied medicine in order to achieve the stream of childhood.
That is a very interesting story, and I can't help myself but to ask, Professor. So, like from looking back at your childhood experience, so this passion for healthcare, for helping people, for doing like specifically these surgeries, was it more like you were born with this like desire to follow this path? Or actually, what atmosphere the child is rising up, that's how it influences the future choices of the person. Like from your opinion, how it happened.
Yes, first, it's true that in my family, I am the first generation of physician in the family. First, I lived in a medical family, and this one helps a lot. Uh, but the other one is also the influence of my father, the other factor. He was a physician, and he was also a great philanthropist. And for that reason, he initiated me in this humanitarian field. To be a philanthropist is not an easy job. You have also to get some natural things inside you, because you have endlessly give and give and give, and finally, you give your life. Why, you dedicate, you give your life, as you saw, the slogans of my humanitarian work, of my foundation is, to love life, to feed, to teach, to protect, and serve. And finally, if you would like to serve life, you have to love, respect human beings, you have to feed them, you have to teach them, you have to protect them. It's a global process. It means this one is also something which depends on the education you receive from your family. Because my father, he was a physician in Istanbul. He was the director of the Greek hospital, first of the Italian hospital, and then the Greek hospital. And when I was, a child, I was impressed because there was a lot of people just around his medical cabinet, waiting for the consultation. And then 3 days a week, he was not receiving money from these people. And leave the fact that, he was not receiving money, but also he was removing all the money from his pockets, to give them, because he was telling me, these people, they are very poor. If, they are not able to buy their medicines, they cannot be treated. My job will not be complete. And finally, if you have, during your whole childhood, this humanitarian image of a real philanthropist man, you become a source of humanitarian work. Because then, you ask yourself many questions regarding the meaning of existence in life, what you would like to achieve. And you start asking these questions very early in life. And I believe my father, and I would like, to pay tribute to him each time, I mention all these things, all these memories. Really, I become very emotional. Forgive me, but he was a great teacher, and he taught me everything, I achieved in my life, and I was continuing. I am continuing to achieve.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Professor.
I lost the voice.
Alinka, yes, I think I thought it's my internet connection, but I think we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Just a second. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah, very good.
Now
I
we
didn't
can.
have sound on. Yeah, it's awesome. And since I met you, then you've been the director of cardiovascular department of University Hospital in Geneva. And I always admired your work and the work of your team. Then you saved lives to like newborn babies, like 40 centimeters long, surgeries on open hearts. And I was always amazed about what you do in your everyday life. And I would like, since then, I would like to ask you a question. Actually, what do you feel when you go to the operation theater? What is your inner state? How do you keep concentrated? Can you share with our viewers? Because for a common person as me and Serge, for us, it's very difficult to imagine. How do you manage to keep control?
Yeah. I believe it's a very good question and a lot of things to say about that. But first, I believe surgeon should be very serious and very concentrated on what he is doing. Surgery is true that is a very practical job related also to the hand skills. But on the other hand, everything is in the brain. Brain does the surgery. It means when you will operate on a child, based on the cardiac malformation he has, you have to conceive everything, all these technical steps in your brain, because your hands will obey to your brain. It means, no reason for distraction. I am a highly concentrated surgeon. First, I do my surgery in my brain. When I schedule a case, I know exactly what to do. I don't like surprises, improvisation. Because when you have improvisation or surprises, because you didn't analyze properly the case before surgery, then you have complications. And especially heart surgery, and especially pediatric heart surgery, is a very specific surgery. There is no right for mistake, because you make a mistake and you kill legally. And then you can get some problems with your consciousness. You will ask a lot of questions yourself, telling, why I didn't analyze, why, I killed this child. And every life is precious. And being involved also in this humanitarian work, I can tell the death of a child is a scandal for me, because they are like, new plants expecting to be raised, to be protected, to be fed, to be taught, and suddenly, you come and you kill. A physician, surgeon should be very concentrated and very skillful. He has to spend a lot of time to achieve, the most important goals in terms of practical technical knowledge. The second thing, you have to consider the operating theater like a temple, a church, a mosque. When you go, to a temple, you respect the environment. You have a human being on an operating table who trusts you. He gave you your life into your hands. He gave you his life into your hands. And for that reason, there is many other ethical things to be respected. this relationship of trust between the physician, the surgeon, and the patient is something very important. And you know, there is a lot of things which were said, and a lot of things which were written. The ethical aspects is also another important second factor. And then the third factor is you have also to realize that medicine is something which is evolving and very rapidly, very fast. And for a reason, you have also, when you have some complications or some unsolved problems in your specialty, you have also to ask a lot of questions. How, you know, I can improve my practice? How I can try to find out solutions to those unsolved problems? And for that reason, you have also to get some kind of scientific curiosity. It means you have to be serious, highly concentrated, technically skillful, theoretically very well informed regarding, you know, your specialty, and then by also keeping alive the scientific curiosity until the end of your professional life, of your life as a surgeon.
This is very impressive, Professor. So basically, you start already the surgery like well in advance. So basically, you come into this like a state of a perceiver, like a like you say, like a temple. So
Yes.
you analyze all the factors, all the information, and even during the operation, you keep, like you said, you keep tracking basically of the body and giving it orders what to do based on the information. Because I think when you said that you don't like surprises, but I think during operation all the situation might happen. But anyways, you, as far as I understood, you stay in this state of calmness, and you just analyze this as information. You don't accept any emotions. You only act according to what needs to be done as per your experience. Did I understand that correct?
Yeah, he's right. You summarize very well.
Professor, and what gives you motivation to continue and to grow in your skills? What motivates you?
You know, I
Not to
have,
stop.
yeah, very good question. I have, you know, two motivations. The first one is I like and I love what I do because I love human beings. I love life. The second thing is my humanitarian work because finally I was chief in Geneva. I was chief here, you know, in a first pediatric hospital. Now, you know, I move in another pediatric hospital. Finally, you know, in developed countries, in high-income countries, really the system is very well done. They don't need you. Which are the countries really which needs Professor Kalangos, his expertise, his skills, his care, is, you know, this low and middle income countries, where unfortunately pediatric cardiology and pediatric heart surgery in many of these countries, pediatric heart surgery especially is doing the first steps and is not very well developed. For many reasons, for human reasons, for social reasons, for especially also financial, socio-economic reasons. And we have to spend time to improve conditions in those countries. And this one is really my second motivation, but which is now taking a lot of place in my life. I can tell you 50% of my time is dedicated to this humanitarian work. As you know, I am in more than 25 developing countries, and we started really doing a lot of things. We operated on more than 15,000 poor children in this 25 low and middle income countries. And I started also in Geneva 15 years ago, organizing the global humanitarian forums. And then I left Geneva. Now I continue to organize them every 2 years here in Athens. The next one will be in November. Unfortunately, we were obliged to postpone from June to November because of this pandemic and so on. But this one is, I dedicated my life now as a surgeon, because again, I will come back to my father. One day, I graduated from the medical school, and he invited me. He was very aristocratic man, the contact with him was not very simple, yes. You have, to take appointment and go and talk to him. And then one day he told me, okay, I would like to discuss with you. I have, many things to communicate to you as a physician, and also perhaps as a father. And then, I remember very well, it was 5 o'clock in the evening. I moved to his office, and he told me, please sit down. And he told me, now as a physician, don't forget, you are highly skillful, you are a serious boy, and then I'm sure that you will be a very good physician, a very good surgeon. But don't forget, you have an obligation. Because an obligation for the society, because the society, you will realize that with time give you a lot of things, titles, money, some social comfort, but there is a crucial, appropriate moment that you have to realize as a surgeon and as a human being, that you have to restitute, to give back what the society gave to you. What I'm doing now through this through this humanitarian work is this one. Now, I'm in the period of legacy of my life. I achieved a lot of things, and now I'm following the words of my father, who told me, this one is the crucial moment. Let's start giving back.
Professor, that's very interesting. And regarding your foundation that you've started, that we've already touched a bit. So was it like more of a tribute to your father, what he taught you? Or once you started this foundation, it was more like a natural inner, desire that followed your profession?
Yeah, I didn't analyze. Now I will try to analyze, because now it's for the first time, you ask a question. First, I started because I received this vocation, because there is, some teaching process. You have to learn. Somebody, has to come and teach you how, you have to help these people. It means there is, some kind of methodology to achieve humanitarian work. And then this one was giving probably by the genetic transmission coming from my father and by his teaching. This one was crucial for me. But then now each time I'm helping these people, all these poor people, these poor children, I am in a compassion with them, because I kept as a child this image from my father, who was in integral compassion with these people. He was feeling the sufferings of these people. Really, this one, if you don't feel, you cannot do. Or you are an actor and you do some kind of theater, or you would like to be promoted for your humanitarian work. I am doing my humanitarian work, and believe in me, there is a lot of journalists asking me, a lot of interviews. No, I am telling, I don't want to talk about that, because this one is something that I'm doing, free of charge. When you give a gift, you will not try to promote, the fact, the process that you are giving a gift to somebody you appreciate. It's something like this. But now, I realize, because I created also the Kalangos Foundation in Turkey, and I'm trying also to help the poor families over there. And I started getting the impression that because I received from my father this feeling, so precious, so beautiful, wonderful, I would like to pass the message to the next generations that, the next generations need a lot of models. I had the advantage to get my father as a model, but for the next generation, we have also shown the simple physicians who work, who did, who made correct things, that the models are here. You don't need, to go and try to find out them far away. And for that reason, now I dedicated some part of my activity in order, to give the name of my father to a street in Istanbul. And then, because before, his death, I told him, he was 90 years old, I told father, leave your spirit to fly away. You have already your place next to God. But I promise you two things, because everybody has to know what you achieved, because you achieved in a silent way. You didn't do publicity. You lived a life by giving, giving, giving. And for that reason, you deserve. I converted his house into a museum, and where there is also the center of the humanitarian work of this Kalangos Foundation in Istanbul. And now with a mayor of the city, I would like, to give the name of my father to the street behind, this the humanitarian center, as well as, to put his statue. Is very important. People has to see there is models, and we need these models. Humanity is based on models. Every good things in humanity, and even, bad things, they found out their sources, their existence through some initial models. If you destroy these models, okay, I accept we have, to destroy the bad models, but we have to preserve and to keep alive the good models. And for that reason, I'm very focused on that to finish, my obligations, my moral obligations vis-a-vis my father.
Professor, thank you so much. You touched many important topics, and actually the project which is running on the platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement, it's called Creative Society, is a society where all people live in prosperity and happiness, and there people have equal possibilities to get education, medical care, healthcare, and to develop and to grow as humans, as we are all in our true nature. And what I would like to precise from your story is that every human being should feel this responsibility for the society and to give back, not only to take, but also to give back. And this social responsibility is something that can really change our world, because nowadays we are used to wait that someone will come and change our world and will bring us a ready product. But that's not working that way. It's a time that every person feels his or her responsibility as a member of this society, as a human being. And that is why they are promoting this project all over the world in different languages nowadays. And also what you said, it's a great example that you take your time, you have a time which is given to their work for humanity. Because nowadays we are all busy. We are first busy working, then we are busy to serve our consumer style of life. And at the end of the day, people say, we don't have time for anything else. We are so busy. But you gave us a great example that it's always possible to find time for everything. It's just the question of your personal decision. And if you take this personal decision to serve the humanity, you will definitely find time to do it, and you'll find ways to do it, and you'll find people with whom you can do it. And that's very much inspiring. Thank you so much. And as we are talking about a creative society, a society of happy people, we would like to ask you, what is happiness to you?
Happiness, I will reply with a comment of a great philosopher I appreciate a lot. He's an American philosopher, Joseph Addison. There is three things, essential great things in life for happiness. The first one, you have to love something or somebody. The second thing is you have to achieve something. And the third thing for happiness is to dream of something.
That is very interesting. Basically, it all talks about giving something, producing something to this world. And Professor, what about creative society? Like, can you describe how you see it? Actually, such a model of society where people will be in practice happy and comfortable to live in.
As I told you, happiness is something very, very personal. And now it's true that we are living in a society which is offering a lot of things, and then we are not satisfied. But I'm observing around me, and especially in my environment, especially with young people, it became very difficult to satisfy them, and all of them would like to have very fast promotions, a lot of money, and a lot of free time to be happy. There is a problem.
That is so familiar to me.
And everything at the
because
same
I have,
time,
young collaborators,
yeah.
and they would like, when I was a young surgeon, I was at my corner and reading and, trying, to schedule my professional trips to go, to United States in a hospital, to watch a surgery, to discover a new technique. Now, they would like to discover new destinations of tourism and a lot of money. They would like, all of them get, the title of professor, of director, and so on. It means, this consumption society changed the targets for happiness. Unfortunately, happiness is a very simple phenomenon, for human beings. If you are watching into yourself, you can find out your true values of happiness. There is no other way. But now, this consumption society came and imposed us some false principles. And now we have the impression that by spending and getting more money and spending it, we can get, all the luxurious cars, the most beautiful houses, and travel, to the most beautiful destinations. No, this one is not happiness. First, we have to tell our children, pass the message that this one, they are in a wrong way of life. And then we have also to check where, we made the mistake There was a mistake. Unfortunately, this consumption society, this new model of society is part also of globalization, because everything now is based on capitalism. And with this globalization, there is no more moral values. Everything is replaced by economy, by money. And we started gradually at the beginning and now faster losing our moral values. Okay, I believe there is a will to modify the current society. What I am analyzing, and I am deeply watching, how the world is evolving. There will be, an elite society which will run the world. We are going, in this way. Because first, with this globalization, we started increasing this interaction between countries, between individuals. We started being more dependent on each other, on this relationship of each other. And then, I cannot function if, I don't have my mobile, and if I don't call, to ask an advice. Okay, all these new technologies have also a lot of important advantages. I don't deny this one, but it depends how you conceive the use of these new technologies. And then now, after this communication technologies, there will be also the artificial intelligence which will be part of our daily life. And this one will give us a lot of advantages, but also a lot of disadvantages, because again, we will be more dependent on many things which are not naturally part of our daily life as human beings. And now, we cannot determine where are the borders in the utilization of these new technologies is, the big problem of human beings. Where there is my red border, if, I pass over this border, it means, I will create some ethical problems. I will, harm my society. I will harm my moral values. Unfortunately, this one is a very difficult step to achieve, a very difficult process to achieve.
Yes, Professor, regarding the technology, it's a very important topic. And I'd like to mention that some participants of Alert Republic movement, they started a project called XP Energy, basically to create not just intelligence, but artificial consciousness, which is much more complex, and it's identical, let's say, to human being consciousness, except it's could be limited only by the creators, because if we keep it unlimited, it will be a huge consequences. And the reason to create it actually to show to people that if we, like you said, continue the development of technologies without keeping the inner moral values, again, take them back to the society, it will have a very negative impact. But like you said, if we keep the technologies for the benefit of people, and we are being motivated by inner this feeling of love and compassion to people, then we can really change the world.
Right. Yes.
Thank
And
you,
especially,
Professor.
now, especially in medicine, we have also to talk about the advantages of these new technologies. Now, look, with all these mobiles, I have here this mobile, tomorrow will be part of the new medicine. Now we are also modifying the way of conceiving medicine with the arrival of artificial intelligence in medicine. We are moving forward toward a personalized medicine. In this personalized medicine, we started collecting a lot of medical data, and especially genetic and epigenetic informations. And now we are trying to using them in order to determine what are, the potential diseases in a given human being, and then trying, to prevent better some diseases, potential diseases to be developed, in his body. And then, there will be, through this mobile phones, you will be able to give your blood, with a needle, to have, the whole analysis, and then, to transmit them quickly, to your physician or to a medical center or to a hospital. And then, there will be also a lot of screening medical centers. They will screen, before you develop the major disease, the major complication that you are under the way of developing, a myocardial infarction, and they will tell you, stay here, we are coming, to pick you up, to bring you to the hospital, and so on. It's wonderful, this one. I don't contest, but then, as you have mentioned, the problem with artificial intelligence, there is also, I am aware, this willingness to give, autonomy to the artificial intelligence. And it's easy, because now we know all these algorithms, we are analyzing the brain, how the brain is functioning. Because the consciousness is something which is, or brain is producing, is overvalue of the brain, of the work of the brain. And for that reason, when, we will discover all these algorithms, the way of functioning, the synapses between the brain cells, we will be able also to give to this artificial intelligence some kind of autonomy. But this one will be the disaster. As you know, cloning a human being, okay, but then there is, ethical red lines. If you conceive the slave you will clone as a source of organs, there is a problem. And for that reason, in human beings, there is also this desire of destruction in order, to make things evolve, or to keep, many things under the political control, the big mass of population. If, there is this kind of political targets, and then, I believe here we can even move far away and then destroy the whole humanity, unfortunately.
It always depends on the choice, of a human being. If a human being takes a decision to behave as a human being. Serge, we can't hear you. Yeah. As a human being, so it's up to us to choose how to use the technology. And if we choose the technology to serve people, that we can say that we people, we don't need a revolution, we need a evolution as one, as whole, as a humanity, as a whole humanity, not a personal evolution. And in order to build a creative society, a world in which every person will feel comfortable, we think we should be united by one goal. And the basis of our goal are the 8 foundations of creative society. They were described in the article, The Foundation of the Creative Society, and the stages of its construction, published on the 18th of May 2020 on the website of allatraunites.com. And now we will show to our viewers, and we will read the 8 foundations for our viewers. So you see now on the screen that a human is a fundamental unit of society. Humanity is one big family. And the first foundation of a creative society is human life. Human life is the highest value. Life of one human has to be protected as one's own. The goal of society is to ensure and guarantee the value of each human's life. There is not and never can be there anything else more valuable than a human's life. If one human is valuable, then all people are valuable.
And the second foundation is human freedom. Every human is born with the right to be a human being. All people are born free and equal. Everyone has the right to choose. There can be no one and nothing on earth above a human, his freedom and rights. The implementation of human rights and freedom must not violate the rights and freedoms.
And the third foundation we would like to touch today is human safety. No one and nothing in society has the right to create threats to the life and freedom of a human. Every human is guaranteed free provision of essential life necessities, including food, housing, medical care, education, and full society security. Scientific, industrial, and technological activities of the society should be aimed exclusively at improving the quality of human life. Guaranteed economic stability, no inflation or crisis is stable, and same prices around the world, a single monetary unit, and a fixed minimal taxation or no tax. The security of human and society from any kind of threats is ensured by the unified global service that deals with emergency situations. And there are 5 more foundations we can show now on the screen. Yeah, so the full list, number 4 is transparency and openness of information for all. The 5th is the creative ideology. The 6th is development of personality. The 7th is justice and equality and self-governing society. And today, as we are talking about human life, we would like to ask you about the first 3 foundations, Professor. What do you think? How would you comment on them?
Yeah, as I told you, the death of a human being, of a child, is a scandal. I completely agree with you. And for it isn't, you know, the first slogan of my humanitarian work is, you know, protect life. This one is sure, and we have to respect life. The second one was, you know, the safety. It's true that, you know, the safety also is very important. But in the safety, I believe, again, we don't know, especially, you know, where to stop. Know exactly where to stop. We also start the process of our self-destruction. Is, you know, the big problem now. And then when, you know, you realize that, you know, over this red lines, there is, you know, a lot of things. There is also very bad thinking people that, you know, they are able to take advantage of that. And then, you know, for example, there is the transparency of information. Yes, everybody has to be informed in a proper way. Everybody has, you know, to get the proper, the true information. But unfortunately, go to the internet. The big problem is, you know, there is a lot of information and you don't know which one is the right information. There is a lot of misinformation. And then there is also some kind of, I will say, international will to not to give, you know, the whole transparency the human beings should have in order to be able to decide by themselves, to take, you know, the right decisions for their family, from themselves, from their children, and so on. Unfortunately, here, you know, we have the problems.
Yeah, and here we also come to the point of social responsibility of every human being and a journalist, and nowadays every human being who has access to the social media for the words we say to the world.
Yeah, is this one. Is, first the accessibility to the right information, and then to the transparency. Unfortunately, we have now a lot of problems in this two fields. I don't believe we have 100 transparency. There is a lot of things going on in the world, and we don't know because there is, some kind of hidden political willingness, for some future plans doing, other things. And then, we don't know in this multitude of information which one is the true one, the right one.
And also, if we speak about mass media, we see that mass media promotes a lot of aggression, a lot of violence, a lot of competition, and it also can be a personal choice of every person creating this content. Maybe we should change our attitude and show more moral examples. As you said at the beginning, like for a human being to grow and to become a true human, it's very much important to see a lot of very positive moral examples, and it's good to see them in the family, in the society, and also in mass media. It's so much important nowadays. So basically, we have a lot of work to do, right?
Especially,
really
the mass
unite.
media also is a very important point, because the mass media can easily, give a lot of orientations and try to bring people where you put as a target, to bring them over there. And this one is important. And unfortunately, this mass media now is in the unhealthy hands of some politics who are continuing to take advantage, and in order, to realize their unhealthy dreams regarding humanity for some social or economic interests.
Yeah, we see a lot of it nowadays. The good point is that with the access to the contemporary social networks and internet, and we can create platforms like this one. Like, for example, ALLATRA TV platform was created by volunteers. It's an independent, not commercial platform. There are people produce positive content and good content for our society at the free time after work. Then they finish their work and they do these kind of things. So we can do a lot. And I wanted to ask as well, in your opinion, if we as a society take these 8 foundations, every human being of us believes in them and lives according to them, and if our world is truly built on the 8 foundations of such a society, creative society, will we all live in peace and happiness and a violence-free world? What do you think?
Yeah, I strongly believe in that, because what we describe, we show, with these principles, they are, the fundamental principles God gave to human beings. Is something, transmitted. There is, a very good book written by Harari, Homo sapiens. Yes. At the beginning, human beings, they were fully satisfied. And then when they decided, to create a societies and to start, this productivity and living, in big cities, and then, they started forgetting their natural sources and transforming and converting, this natural sources given by this natural power to them, which is part of us. And then, we are now in a step of stupidities. And we are, we would like, for again, for some political targets and political ideologies, we would like, to attack and to aggress, to fight against these principles. This one is unhealthy. in the society. Because human beings, they are creative. There is, no borders in terms of creativity of human beings. There is really no borders. Artificial intelligence, and then, they will be able also to analyze and to give autonomy to this artificial intelligence and continuousness. But the problem is, again, where we would like to go with this creativity. Where are the limits, where the unhealthy creativity is supposed to start, and we have to realize and stop at this point. This one is our problem as a society.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your opinion and our today's conversation. Honestly, I think we can continue. We've just started the conversation and it gets even more and more interested. But I think it's time for us that for today at least we will finish. Maybe we'll meet one more time and continue our discussion, or maybe if you have any friends that you would like to invite,
yeah, thank you very much,
that we can broaden this topic of creative society. And just before we finish, I'd like to ask the question that we do ask of all our guests. Professor Kalangos, would you like to live in a creative society?
Yes, I would like to live. I believe I respect the creativity of human beings because, I also I created, based on the problems, I had in my routine daily activity, I had a lot of intellectual properties, I am a man, a surgeon who like to innovate. But then creativity is not, in the moral values and what, as a human being, I receive, from the supreme power. This one is untouchable. This one is part of the basic and fundamental principles of life. And I appreciate, your initiative, your platform. You continue because you are free. And, to be able, to discuss about all these aspects of a creative society and of these new technologies and of impact and, mobilize people and give, a very clear idea without getting any political involvement is very, very good. You do, a great job. Please receive my whole appreciation for that. Because really you preserve, the freedom of the intellectual capacity of human beings, and you reflect, to everybody, and everybody can go and start asking some questions after getting access to your platform, to your website and so on. It's wonderful what you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us today, and your presence with us already mean that you support the idea of the creative society. And thank you for the implement of your ideas, your understandings into our project, because this project doesn't belong to one organization, to a group of people. It belongs to all humanity. And if we want to have a change in our society, we have to act together. And first, we have to sit and speak. We have to understand how we would like to live, and not to wait too long, because as we see in contemporary world, everything is changing very quickly. And thank you everyone for participating in today's conversation. If you or your friends wanted to participate in our live conversations, please send us email to uae@allatraunite.com, and to join creative society project on the *ALLATRA International Public Movement, please visit our website allatraunites.com, where you will see the red button join, and you just need to fill in a short information. It's a very easy form, and leave your contacts. So as well, nowadays on the same web page, you can discover further information about 8 foundations of a creative society. It would be interesting to know your opinion and your feedback about it as well. So you can also participate in conversations on ALLATRA Radio or send your ideas of creative society to info@allatraunites.com. And of course, if you do the reposts, don't forget to use our hashtags. Serge, can you tell our guests how to repost the videos, please?
Yes, sure. Please, once you share our videos, please use hashtags hashtag Creative Society and hashtag ALLATRA Unites. And please don't stay apart. Join our initiative of 6 handshakes. Continue this initiative. The faster we inform as many people as possible about this opportunity of living in a different, in a happy society, the faster we can unite together and to start to implement it. And thank you one more time, Professor Kalangos. It was an amazing conversation. And thanks our dear viewers and for your comments and viewing. And see you soon on ALLATRA TV Middle East.
And just before we finish, I wanted to make a short announcement. Yesterday, we have launched the first international roundtable, Creative Society, Society Without Violence. And this was the first roundtable, the first international conference we launched online, but we would like to do it regularly in different countries all the world, in different languages. And please, if you would like to become a speaker on this conference, or you would like you have an idea of who can be a speaker, please contact us. We are organizing next roundtables in different languages, so please be with us. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Serge. Professor, thank you for being with us
today. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Alina. See you soon.
See you soon.